Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to World of Warships with me, Shadowhunter, and the first in a new series, which is called AP vs HE. What I'm going to be attempting to show is which ammo type to use against what and in what kind of situation. So we find ourselves in Tier 5 Omaha, up against a Murmansk, which is a nasty Tier 5 cruiser for the Russians. Well, let's quickly take you through some of the stats for the Omaha's guns. So it's got 152mm, which are 6 inches to you and me. The maximum damage that armor piercing can do is 3,100, whilst the maximum damage that high explosive can do is 2,200. However, with armor piercing, you're not guaranteed to penetrate every time. However, if you do manage to hit and penetrate, you're going to be doing the maximum of 3,100 damage if you hit the citadel. So our first salvo of high explosive gets nice 7 hits and damages various modules on that enemy ship. However, I have now changed to armor piercing, as I know that I can actually penetrate the armor of the Murmansk with these pretty good 6-inch guns. So first salvo didn't penetrate the citadel. That salvo, however, did. I get 2 citadel penetrations with that one. My third salvo is going to miss as he's turned in, and I had already aimed to where I thought he was going to be. The next salvo doesn't miss, however, and even though he was heading straight on, because of the good performance of these guns, I do manage to get a citadel penetration and again cause an awful lot of damage. My final salvo is obviously going to be the final one, as I hit another citadel and managed to kill him. How many salvos did I have to use to kill that Murmansk of armor piercing? I only counted 4 salvos that I needed to use against the Murmansk of armor piercing with citadel penetrations to actually kill him, whilst he was firing high explosive back at me, and all he managed to achieve was damage a few modules and take off half my health. He's dead, I'm not, and with similar gun stats as well on the Murmansk, it shows that armor piercing was the best choice to use there. Again, against the Phoenix, I believe that armor piercing is the best choice. I mean, there's the evidence, another citadel penetration with armor piercing. However, to show what would happen if you were using high explosive, I am actually going to switch to high explosive after I fire my torpedoes and another salvo of armor piercing doing no damage. The torpedoes on the Omaha aren't that bad. With a fairly short range of 5.5 kilometers, they are a defensive weapon, but with the possibility of 6 being fired from each side, and with each one possibly doing up to 11,733 damage, they are pretty useful. With a fairly low speed of 56 knots and a reload time of 66 seconds, however, they're probably not the best weapon to be using against cruisers. They're probably better against battleships at short range when you're on your last stand. Now, the high explosive against the Phoenix does not do as well as the armor piercing against the Murmansk, which is a tier higher than the Phoenix. So first salvo, 5 hits, not too much damage, wasn't too bad though. Second salvo, 4 hits. Third salvo, another 4 hits. But by now I might have killed the Phoenix using armor piercing, whilst with high explosive I had to wait for the torpedoes to hit him and then finish him off. Bit of kill stealing going on there. I mean, he was going to die anyway. He fired some torpedoes at me in vain hope, just like you should be doing sort of a last stand weapon with any torpedoes on any American cruisers, especially the Phoenix and the Omaha. I'll now just take you through a few of the soft stats for the guns. So with a range of 12.7 kilometers, that's perfectly adequate for the tier that it's in. Some of the battleships actually have similar range. The Tier 4 Arkansas Beta has a range similar to that. The rounds per minute is what makes this ship so overpowered in its tier, I believe. 8.6 rounds a minute, that's roughly a shell leaving the gun every 6.5 seconds. And with the gun layout of this ship, that's an awful lot of fire heading in the enemy direction. The fore and aft turrets both have 2 guns in, and there are 4 other turrets with only 1 in on each side of the ship. This means that you have the capacity to fire 8 shots from each side, and if you get this thing going around in a circle, you can almost use this thing as an autoloader. You can be firing a shell every single half second, if that. So now I've come around the corner and probably surprised this Wyoming, or hopefully surprised him anyway, because he's not shooting at me. I am shooting high explosive at a battleship. Now, this is where you don't want to be firing armor piercing really. I'm in relatively close range. He was at an angle. If I was firing armor piercing, chances are that they would just bounce off and I would do very little damage, maybe a little bit of small damage. Again, North Carolina, fire high explosive, you might set fires. If you can get 3 fires set on any battleship, then he's going to be in dire straits because there's very little he can do about it. You'll have to wait for his repair party, which takes over a minute to reload, as most of you know. As you can see, this battle has gone particularly well for our team. There's only 3 of the enemy left, and so far we have only lost 1 destroyer. There's a Fubuki way off in the distance there. I am in range, and I don't know what I was doing, but that's definitely not where to aim at a Fubuki which can do over 32 knots. Need to be moving my aim to the left a lot more to actually hit this guy, and at this range I'm very unlikely to penetrate a citadel with armor piercing, so I was firing high explosive. Now, a little bit later on in the battle, we have come across their aircraft carrier. When it comes to what to fire at an aircraft carrier, I really don't think it matters too much. It depends on your preference really. If you want to sink them quickly, use armor piercing, get those citadel penetrations, and you'll kill them a lot faster. However, if you use high explosive, you will set them on fire. You are a lot more likely to damage modules and engines. If you do set them on fire, they will not be able to launch their aircraft as their flight deck's on fire. So it really depends on circumstances and whether you want to make the aircraft carrier suffer or not. This poor guy is taking fire from every single direction. He's having me shoot at him with high explosive, he's on fire, he's having torpedoes dropped at him from aircraft, from our aircraft carriers. He is going to die quickly, and I do actually manage to get a citadel penetration with a high explosive. You can actually get those with the very, very weak armour on most aircraft carriers at this tier. There's only 2 enemies left, but we are actually in the cap circle at the moment. There are 3 of us in here as well, so there is almost no chance of us being able to get out the cap circle to finish off the remaining 2 enemies. I do actually get another aircraft shot down here, which with the not fantastic anti-aircraft on the Omaha was slightly surprising, and the game is very nearly over by cap. Unfortunately you don't get the final 2 kills, but it wasn't a bad game. I managed to get over 1,400 base experience and 6 citadel penetrations after only 18 armor piercing penetrations hits. So just to show you how effective the armor piercing can be on this tier 5 ship, I have a quick clip to show you here. So as you can see, I am coming around the headland and there's an Alba-class cruiser there. Now the Alba is a tier 6 Japanese cruiser, so it's not that much higher than me. So first of all I fire high explosive and I set him on fire and do a reasonable amount of damage. However, my second salvo does absolutely nothing, so I change to armor piercing. This is where I get a bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting to do a large amount of damage. However, with that salvo, I managed to do over 5,000 damage and knock out his engine. So I fire some torpedoes because that is where he's going to be going, because he's not going to be accelerating quickly after having his engine knocked out and accelerate again. We get another salvo in, do a fair amount of damage, and again, small amount of damage, not really expecting any citadel penetrations, and he gets completely blown out of the water by something behind me. Now there is a problem. That is the tier 7 Japanese cruiser, the Miyoko. However, 2 citadel penetrations with the armor piercing from a tier 5 cruiser. This just goes to show that against an enemy cruiser, you want to be firing armor piercing. Anywhere between tier 4 to tier 7, which you are likely to get put up against, fire armor piercing, unless you are at extreme ranges, in which case fire high explosive. Battleships and destroyers definitely fire high explosive. Destroyers, if you fire armor piercing, it will just go in one side straight out the other and do very, very little damage. Whilst with a battleship, even if it is at a flat angle, you're very likely to bounce off and do minor damage, so fire high explosive. Anyway, I hope this video, the first of a series, was informative and that you learned something new today. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you next time.